Hello everyone and welcome to another Go Go Muffin video. Before we dive in here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell and drop a like on the video too if you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to join our Discord server as well if you're not already there. The link is in the description down below. We've also activated our channel membership which comes with all kinds of perks, so check that out if you're interested in joining. And speaking of channel membership, I do want to take a moment to give a special shout out to our current members. So thanks to all of you, and I hope you're enjoying the benefits. And finally, a reminder that all comments on every video will be automatically entered into our weekly giveaways. Winners will be randomly selected every Monday. So good luck, and let's get this started. Alright, so in this video we're going to be taking a look at the T17 Trial, which is the Roulette Gamble Revealed fight. Now this was a pretty fun fight, but it does require you to definitely understand how the mechanics work, because otherwise you'll be left a little confused as to what exactly is going on. Now, one thing I do want to point out before we jump into the video and start taking a look at the clear is that when you look at the skills here, you're going to see added to the list Adventurer's Plight. Now, this is going to be a mainstay for trials moving forward, and as you can see here, periodically removes the accumulated buffs on players' pets. So this means in perilous trials, you can no longer use Thunder or Smarty special skills because they will have the buffs removed. So just don't use any stacking pets, any stacking Melamon. Instead, you should use anything else like Your Turn and Echo and maybe Invisible Friend or some other DPS increasing Melamon. So just getting that out of the way, we're not going to read all these together because we're just going to jump in and look at the video since that's a better way to understand this boss fight. So I'm going to pull up the fight now and let's take a look at how this goes down. So I will say right away, just a fair warning, that we do somewhat cheese a few of the mechanics by getting them a little bit wrong and just having the healer barrier, but I will explain when we get to that point the correct way to deal with that. Now, healer... So Honed Edge, by the way, this is an ability that's a tank buster, so the tank should use their shield for that. Okay, this is an important ability to understand. So Poison Strike, this is a ability that he uses, the boss uses, and for this, your tank should be running a Dispel. Now I'm going to jump back in game quickly and show this because it's easier to show. Now, tanks don't have access to the same skills DPS do, but if you look here at Cleansing Will, upon casting, immediately remove 3 buffs from all enemies. So your tank needs to run Cleansing Will for this fight. The reason why the tank needs to run Cleansing Will for this fight is for this ability right here. Now, what Poison Strike does is he puts a buff on himself, and then he runs and he attacks all of the players in the party and puts a poison debuff on you, which means that if you use any of your tactical skills, you will take massive amounts of damage and almost certainly die. So what has to happen here is your tank needs to run Cleansing Will, and the second the cast bar goes out, boom, you see, there's the buff icon on the boss. Tank uses Cleansing Will, the buff icon is gone, the boss dashes around attacking everyone, and we don't get any poison debuff. So that is how you deal with that ability, and it's extremely important because this is definitely a bit of a DPS check. You don't want to put the responsibility of your DPS to be able to be the ones to dispel that ability. You want your DPS to be able to focus exactly on doing DPS, so your tank needs to use that Cleansing Will in order to deal with this Poison Strike. And you can see here, there's the Cleansing Will. You can actually see the shout here, Cleansing Will, which is used by the tank. It goes ahead and removes that debuff and the buff on the boss, and then we don't get the poison debuff. Okay, so ready and loaded, this is the primary mechanic of this boss. And the way this works is, he basically summons these 2 boxes. Now you can't see it here because you actually sometimes have this bug where there's supposed to be an icon above each of these targetable boxes here. One's going to show a shield and one's going to show a barrier. And what you basically have to do is, you see the boss actually is going to indicate which ability they're going to use. And again, you're supposed to be able to see the symbol. It's kind of unclear there. But depending on what symbol has this green flowing wind is what he's going to use. And here you can see we're actually killing the wrong box. We're supposed to be targeting the left box, but we kill the right box first. And what happens is he's going to use his first ability, which is Whale Puppet Tsunami. Now the Tsunami sends waves to attack, which you're supposed to use the opposite box for. Now the other ability that's just shown up here, you can see, is going to be called Burst. Now we accidentally broke both of the boxes because we're doing this when we're a little over geared for the fight, so our DPS, AoE DPS, is unfortunately just like bringing down the boxes accidentally. So you can see here the green aura shows what ability he's going to use, and now he uses Ball Puppet Burst. Now what normally is supposed to happen is you have to time breaking the boxes so that you have the correct defensive ability up from the box available when he uses the respective ability. And the way it works, if you go back to when he first uses this, you're going to break always. The easiest way to remember this, you're always going to break the box that's on the opposite side of where you see this green aura flowing. Now, I'm saying this now because we don't do it properly in this fight. We're just kind of zerging through and just using healer barrier in order to like cheese the mechanics. But you have this green aura here, therefore you break the left box and you leave the right box. You can bring it to maybe like 30 to 40% HP and then leave it. And then, so like I said, we break it here by accident. I'm going to skip forward a bit. He uses Tsunami, and then the second ability he uses is going to be this Burst. Now, the Burst does a lot of damage, and you're probably going to want to have your healer barrier the Burst, even with, you see, that was with barrier. You can see how much damage it did. So if you ever have a situation where you don't get the box shield properly for this ability, have your healer use barrier for it, because it deals a lot of damage. Now, it is completely random whether the boss will use the left or right ability first. Whether he's going to use Tsunami or Burst first is random. But all you need to know is the opposite side box to whatever the green aura, green wind is on, is the box you break first for that ability. So if the green aura is on the right for Tsunami, you break the left box. If the green aura is on the left, you break the right box. Okay. Boom. Finally, you can see here I had a bug the first time. So now you can see the symbols. The right-hand box has a shield. The left-hand box has a barrier. On the left, you can see Burst. On the right, you can see Tsunami. And now you can see the boss has the Burst lit up. So the green aura is on Burst. He's going to use Burst first. So we need to break the right-hand box with the shield in it. So unfortunately, you can see here we broke the left-hand box first. Like I said, this is an absolute disaster of a fight. And we're just cheesing through. And so he's going to use Burst. We have the shield up for it, but then when he uses his second ability, Tsunami, we actually don't have any defensive ability for it from the two boxes, so we're just going to have to rely on the healer's barrier again in order to not get wiped. So this basically is a demonstration of how not to do this fight properly, but hopefully by me explaining the mechanics, you get a sense of what you're supposed to do in order to beat it properly. So again, we had, I'm going to go back for a second just to remember, we have Poison Strike. The tank, when the icon shows up, uses Cleansing Will, the icon goes away, the buff goes away, and then the boss attacks without putting any poison debuff on anyone. And then that's basically this fight in a nutshell. And yeah, so I'm just going to let one more Ready and Loaded play out. So you can see here, the green aura is on Tsunami. We should be breaking the barrier box first, but you can be sure that we're probably... Okay, is this the first time we actually break the box properly? It is. Look at that. So this is how you properly do this. You break the left box for the Tsunami. Look at this. It basically does no damage, but then we make a mistake. We break the right box too early, so then we don't have it available for Burst. Now, what you should have done is left it around 40 to 50%, maybe 30% HP, and continued attacking the boss, and then broke it so it's available for a Burst. As you can see here, even with barrier, Burst is almost killing us. And that's basically the fight. It's rinse and repeat. I'm just going to skip ahead. You can see here it's the same. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go... It's just literally the same mechanics over and over and over again. All the way through, all the way through, all the way through. And then we get the clear. So that's how this fight works. I didn't want to let the whole thing play out because it's basically just repeating the same mechanics over and over again. And hopefully you get a sense. I know In the video, the demonstration, we actually didn't do the mechanics properly, but by explaining what the correct mechanics are, hopefully you get a sense of what you need to do for this fight. And there you have it. So that's how you beat T17 with a on-screen display of how you don't beat T17. But hopefully it helps regardless when it's your turn to enter this perilous trial and go for the clear. So that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this helpful. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.